this video, I'm going to use some example to explain how to call a method from the inheritance. In this project, I have 3 Java files. One is customer, this is parent. This is parent, customer is parent. And I have a sub class called preferred customer. In other words, preferred customer is a specific customer and inherit from customer, right? And also I have a demo program to demonstrate how to use this to inherit examples. So in customer, I define and display method, and in this display method, I don't do anything but indicate this is the parent display method. And from preferred customer, I have a similar display method, but this is specific for preferred display. And in this method, I want to call my parents display method. Also, plus some additional information, which is this is preferred display method. Indicate, I called this or not. So in the demonstration program, I just create an object, an instance of preferred customer, which is a child customer object. Then I from this object call the display method. To call the display method, not this preferred display. If I call display method, can I call this first? Let's evaluate. Can I call display method? Yes, I can, because I am an instance of preferred customer, and preferred customer inherited from customer, and this method is public, so I can call it. I inherited from my parents, right? So which means if I run this file, yeah, this is parents display method, because yes, this is a method I called, but this is my parents, not mine. I don't have that one, right? I have a preferred display, but not the one display, right? So I can access my parents display method. If, for instance, I have my own display method, and in this display method, I specifically tell you this is my preferred display. At the same time, I want to display whatever my parent has. In other words, I want to display my parents' display, then additional display my specific message. So if that's the case, I comment this one out. Then I call this through the same object called preferred display, which means I call myself display method, but I want to myself display method also access my parents display. So in this case, if I run the file, you can see, let me move it up. The parents display being called and preferred display being called. That's right, that's correct, because in my preferred display, I did call my parents and call myself and display the specific information for myself. But keep in mind, there are 3 ways to access my parents display method. One is directly to use display. Why I can use it? Because I inherited from my parents. That means this is mine, so I can use it. And also, because this is my parents, I can use super to access it. That makes perfect sense. Remember this. Let me take a screenshot. To make sure these 2 calls will give the same result. Do I have that one? Yes. Oh my god, I need to redo it, right? I take a screenshot using snapping tool to remember the first one, right? And when I use super to call, I want to prove the 2 display are same. Yes, you see the 2 display same. In other words, I use display or super display means the same. My parents display method, right? You see the screenshot, exact same thing. And also you can use this to call it. This means myself, my own object. My own object period display, which means I call the display method. The display method I inherit from my parents. In other words, these two are same. I also prove that, right? Also prove that. I run this one. Yes, see, the exactly same output will be shown on your output window. In other words, these three call are same, means the same thing, the parents display method. But something I want to go to a little bit deeper is, for instance, if I have a override the same method name, I turn this on, right? The display defined in the child class, in the subclass. See, the superclass have the same one, right? Display and subclass define the same method, the same method. If this is the case, if you call display from the demo, they call display from demo, which means you are calling the subclass, the child class display, which is only this one. Let me prove that, right? Run this file. See that this is the child display. In other words, if you have a same method head in the child class with the parent, then if you call this one, means yourselves, not your parents. Your parents being override. Does that make sense? Override this method. This method override. See here we have a keyword here, right? Override parents. The reason we tell this is tell Java compiler this is the override. For instance, if my parents doesn't have that one, then I have an override method. Then the compiler gonna tell you there is something wrong. There is an error message. So indicate I assume I know my parents have the same method. I want to override it. So if I call it from myself, from the child class object, I assume you to call this one, not my parents one. I override my parents, right? You see here, this is the child display. But something happened. If you have a definition of the same method with your parents, and also you have a method like this, then things gonna change. In this case, if you define the same method with your parent inside the child class, right? The public void display, the same thing with your parent. Then inside this method, the super gonna represent your parents display method. Let me run this one, right? You can see this is the parent display, and plus this is preferred display method plus your actual information, right? But the difference is if you call this display, which means this guy, the child display method, not your parents. See, this is the child display plus the actual information. And the same thing for call display directly. When you call display directly from here, which means this guy, right? Will display the child display. You see that? It's not your parents anymore, right? So this is something you need to pay a little attention. Usually, if your parents have a method like this in the child method, usually what we do is we define the same name, and if you need your parents' information as well, you just put your super.display to indicate I want my display my parents display first, then display the actual, right? We don't need this method usually, if not necessary. In other words, I can come out with the whole method like this. I define the same name with my parents, but in addition to my parents' display information, I have my own stuff. So this is what we do usually. But one thing, if this is a static method, the display in the parents is static, And you can immediately realize here, don't let you define an non-static method on the child side. You have to static too, right? But when you define as a static super, because super is a non-static instance, so you cannot use super.display your parent's method anymore. On the other hand, in this case, usually we use the class name to indicate the class customer name called the display. Why I can use class name? Because this is a static method, belongs to the whole class. The whole class only have a one copy of this static method, so I can use the class name to access this parent's display method, and plus my additional information. It's a little complicated, but as long as you understand the concepts, you should understand the relationship between the superclass and the subclass. And thank you for watching.